Hi everyone, it's Kelly Cameron. I have been contemplating doing this video for probably a week. I'm not the kind of person to ever do New Year's resolutions just because I work on myself every day, all the time, and just because a number on a calendar changes doesn't mean that, my life is going to change from one day to the next. I mean, although it can, from 1 hour to the next, sometimes when you shift belief systems and you're working on things, it can change. I just don't go by the calendar. I like to do my own thing every day and work on towards my goals consistently all the time. The one thing though that I am going to resolve to do, and it really doesn't have anything to do with the new year, and which is why I've contemplated doing this video for a while, is that over the holidays I was triggered to feel an old image that I had about my physical body. And I was really surprised that I was still hanging on to this after all this time. What happened was my children were at their grandparents and they were looking at pictures of my wedding album from when my ex-husband and I were married, and pictures that their grandma had of when he and I were dating. So this was back in the day, like 25 years ago we're talking about. And, they showed me some of the pictures, and I looked at the pictures, and then I saw a picture of myself that someone took this Christmas. And it was really a stark contrast physically to see how much I've changed and how different I am. And I realized that I was still hanging on to this idea that even though I'm now 45 and I'm in much better shape mentally and emotionally than I ever have been, that I still beat myself up, that I don't look like I did when I was 20. And I haven't given myself permission for my body to change in all that time. I've had 5 pregnancies. One of them at one point turned out to be what's called a molar pregnancy, so it was a tumor and it had to be taken out. And that was a huge catalyst in my life, like 18 some years ago, to look at where I was in my life and where I wanted to go and where I was heading and why I wasn't happy. And I've spent a lot of time dealing with anxiety, and I had postpartum depression, so I've had all of those things, and there's kind of a default setting that my body has when I get tired or overwhelmed, so I have to constantly monitor my emotional state, and I'm constantly monitoring my body. So when I saw this old picture of myself, I looked at it and I looked at this person who physically looked fit and beautiful. And not that I don't look beautiful now, but how brittle she was inside and how anxiety ridden she was. And I thought, I don't want to be that person. Why would I expect my body to look exactly the same? And I realized after all of this time that I was still beating myself up inside very quietly, that I wasn't achieving that. And sometimes it was hard for me to watch videos of myself because I knew I didn't look like that anymore. And so what I have resolved to do for myself is to look at myself the way I look at other people. Because when I see someone, when I meet someone, the first thing I do is I look into their eyes. So what I have done is, because I do have a background in kinesiology and I've basically spent my life training athletes of all levels, and I've gone back to, setting up little training programs for myself. But instead of doing it the old way, I have taken some of my martial arts training and I'm integrating that and a lot of the new things that I've learned, because the martial arts training that I've done has given me a stability and a grounding that I didn't have before, and an awareness of my body that I didn't have before. And that's really exciting to me because the internal martial arts really help you focus on yourself, and they help you focus on feeling your body, because our body is our biggest tool. Sometimes our bodies can tell us more about our emotional state than our actual emotions, because our emotions can come from ego-based, and heart-based, and sometimes when we're confused or we're going through transitions or whatever, we don't know the difference. And so it's hard. People say follow your heart, but that can be a really hard thing to do when you don't know and can't differentiate between the voices that are inside of yourself, whether or not it's an ego voice or it's a heart voice. Your body's a tool to help you learn how to feel. And if you know that because sometimes I will not feel anxious, but I'll have a stomach ache, and I'll ask myself, well, why do I have a stomach ache? When do I have that? Or my throat will be a little sore, or I'll have, stiff muscles in certain places. I mean, for me, I also had physical signs of depression way back then. So I know that there are certain little things, like when my right ankle starts to hurt, that I know that there's something emotionally that I need to look at, because that's like a little tool. That's my right ankle hurts. So that was also, I learned how to listen to my body. And I think we all need to learn how to listen to our bodies. And as a physical educator, there's so much information out there, and there's so many people that you could talk to. I think, though, that you need to find the information that resonates with you. And there's good information, there's not good information. It's really hard to discern, but it's good to talk to a professional. If you could have a personal trainer at a gym, or if you have a gym membership. But sometimes if gyms aren't for you, if you don't want to spend time in a gym, like that's why I took up martial arts, because I like the power training, because it uses resistance. My body loves it. It's something that I crave to do. Even when I'm tired, the workouts are not long and they're very effective for me. So I think everyone needs to find something that they enjoy and that resonates with them, because not every exercise is going to resonate with every person. And there is so much to do. I mean, if you're a sports person, you can take up sports, you can do other things, you can be on leagues and teams. There's just an abundance of things to do. And I think sometimes we get stuck feeling like we have to be a certain way, or we have to do a certain thing, and we don't. We need to do what's best for ourselves, and we need to learn what that is, and that might be trial and error too. It's not always going to be so black and white for us. We are multidimensional beings, so our bodies need different things. We need different supplements sometimes. We need different vitamins. So you need to find what is going to work for you. So what I've resolved for myself is to start seeing myself the way that I see other people, which is to look into their eyes and to get to know them and to look into their heart. I can feel people's hearts when I'm close to them, and I don't look at people's physical appearance first. So why am I looking at my physical appearance first, as if that's who I am and that's what I am? So I've resolved that I'm now going to look at myself the way that I look at other people. And I'm going to stop judging myself. I'm going to congratulate myself for the things that I get done in a day. I'm going to, even if I'm a little tired, but I can do that 15-minute, strength workout or plank workout or whatever. That's good. If that's what I could fit in today, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to start right where I am. And I'm not going to look at where I think I should be. I'm not going to look at where I was and try to be that, because I'm not there anymore. I'm at a totally different place. So I'm really going to work at, and continue to work at, looking at myself in a totally different way, as this multifaceted, beautiful, multidimensional being that we all are. And so I hope that when I post this, I hope that it resonates with people, and I hope you take something from it, and I hope that in your own way you can find something to resolve, to look at yourself differently and to work on, without feeling like you got to beat yourself up for it, because you know what? We don't. The more love and encouragement that we give to ourselves, the better we're going to feel, period. So I hope everyone has had a great day, and thanks for listening.